Welcome back to Her New Lens. I'm Tricia Rosestone, and today we're exploring something that touches every part of our lives: friendship. As I've grown and shifted lenses in my own life, I've realized that friendships evolve right along with us. Some stay steady, some fall away, and others appear just when we need them most. In this episode, we'll look at friendship not as a fixed rule, but as an energy. Together, we'll walk through 10 unique friendship energies and see how each one can guide you toward more clarity, compassion, and alignment through the New Lens method. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly talk about why this is a really important topic, because you might be thinking, okay, why are we talking about friendship? There's so many bigger issues to face. There are people having trouble with marriages, people having trouble meeting a partner, but the reason why I think this is worthy of this time is because recent studies have shown how important relationships are to our well being. There was a study done at Harvard University, a longitudinal study that concluded in 2023. And it was the longest running study on happiness. And it was determined that strong, supportive friendships are the number one predictor of lifelong well-being. So let that sink in for a minute. All the things that we take care of trying to eat well, trying to moderate whatever we're doing, trying to get exercise, trying to do all of our wellness checks. And the number one predictor of lifelong well-being is not all of those things. It is the quality of a strong, supportive friendship. So that's why this is a very important topic and something I wanted to get into today. What's unique about this discussion is we're going to be talking again about the energy of friendship, because a big part of what I work with is the idea that we're attracting who we are, and it's our energy reflecting back to us in terms of friendship, and how little things I've learned and studied and want to share to help navigate some of the complexities of friendships. And also, before we get into these energies, I want to say one visual that really helps me is to think of friendship and relationships as more not static, more kinetic and always changing. And so I have the visual in my mind of like a colorful mosaic with all different colors and shapes and sizes. And imagine you have your own mosaic that represents your friendships in your life, and how at any given time, if you take a snapshot of that, it's changing. There are new people coming in, there's some people going out, some people coming back. Certain people are getting more time, some people getting less time, but how they're all part of your energy, they're all part of what makes you unique. And to be more open to the idea that it is changing all the time, and to not put so much judgment on yourself or on others when things aren't the way you thought they should be or exactly what you thought you were wanted, and just have compassion for the fact that things are changing, and for some of us change is hard. It's just, we're all going through it, we're all experiencing changes in our friendships, and it's normal. So the first friend energy I want to talk about is lifelong friendship. And what I mean by that is different than a childhood friendship, which is stemming from childhood but doesn't necessarily have every chapter. We're going to be talking about that later. This is a lifelong, meaning decades. So if you think of your life in terms of chapters, or like Taylor Swift, how she talks about hers in terms of eras, this is a friend who has gone through multiple chapters or eras with you. And what is it about this friend that makes them unique? And what does this energy of this friend reflect back to you? So, do you have friends like this in your life? Does anything come to mind for you? When I think of this, I imagine that to have friendships that span decades or chapters, there is a willingness to allow each other to grow and evolve and still connect, because we're all changing through every chapter. So if you have a friendship that's going to many different chapters, you're able to evolve together. And accept each other where you are now and still have a connection, even though things are different. Maybe they were in a previous chapter. And also, if you have friendships like this, I feel like this is a sign that you personally place a high value on devotion and commitments. So that's a reflection of you and of the relationships you work to maintain, because there is effort involved, of course, in maintaining friendships. So that is the lifelong friendship. The next one I want to talk about is the spiritual, or we call it sometimes like a soul friendship. This one is the one that allows you to connect to your higher self through this friend. And I know that sounds really woo-woo, but I wrote and I shared a podcast a while ago on becoming your higher self. What I mean by that is there's a part of you within you that's really high vibration. So if I'm here having my life is running this way, I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, there is a part of me inside that's very much higher vibration that I can access and get information from and get cues from. And the soul friend, the spiritual friend, is a reflection back of that higher vibration, so you can connect to that friend in a higher level and ultimately back to yourself from a higher level. Have you had that feeling before where there's something going on in your life and you talk to that friend and you walk away from it with a completely different perspective? Like you just shifted on the phone. You're like, oh yeah, I get that now. That is like a soul spiritual friend. And when you have those friends in your mosaic, that tells me that you are open to your higher self and you're connecting to your higher self. And that friendship is drawn in because you enjoy connecting and you place importance on it. So that is the spirit friendship. The next one I have is maybe underrated, the compatible friend. So this is a friend that you're just in harmony with. It may not be super deep. It may not be super fun. It may not be super intimate. It's somebody who you can just do life with, you can hang out with, and you're just synced. There's harmony. And this tells me that there's a natural feel to it. And those those rhythms align with your lifestyle and passion. My harmonies. Also, when you're feeling that sense of connection and just compatibility, there's like resonance. Like you don't have to put a lot of effort in, you just vibe. Like that's what I think of. And those friendships are really also very important. They form like the architecture of like our days and our weeks and our years. You have those people that are there. They're not necessarily super strong connections. They don't have to be, but they're compatible. And I think that that's really valuable. So that is the compatible friend. So imagine those people on your mosaic that are compatible. You just click. The next one is a really close, deep one. That is the intimate friend. And that's the friend that you can be in chaos. You can have your kitchen's a mess, your sink is full of dishes, you're not looking great, you're crying, you're upset, whatever it is. And that friend can just come right in and you can be yourself with that friend. It's a feeling of the friend that gets on the inside of your life. That is the intimate friend. So that tells me if I was to see your mosaic and see that you have or you have some people in your friend circle that you really let in, that's what I would take away from that you have a very great, strong sense of worthiness. And you're willing to receive support and you're willing to give support. Because, of course, these energies are reciprocal. You can't just take, or it won't last. So you're willing to give and you're willing to share. And with the other one, you're willing to also be the higher self for the other person. It's a connection point. It's a shared energy. So that's my take on the intimate friend. The next one I have is the time in your life friend. So this is one where you go through something specific and you're in a group of friends, and then life changes and you're no longer in that group as much. And most of the time it's because there's been a move, a physical move, or a very big circumstance has changed. So those friends are really important during a window of time. And I had that in my life when I was 28. I moved to Saskatoon, and I met this really fantastic group of women through my ex sister in law at the time, and we just clicked. We were just really, really great friends. And then little did I know that 2 years after moving there, my life would really fall apart because I was pregnant and then I had a baby and I found out that my marriage was over. So these women were there in a way that I can't even describe how much it meant to me and how I was able to move forward because of their support and friendship. And a big part of this type of friend is that sometimes when things change, you could feel regret or it's really sad that didn't last forever. But the one thing to remember that I think of is you can still appreciate and enjoy and have fond memories of those friends, even if things have shifted. So they also are on my Mosaic. Even though I don't see them all the time, I did actually, ironically, see one last month. She came to London, and I do sometimes see them if they're traveling. But yeah, so it's really about that. It's about being able to let go and look back fondly and then keep the connection loose, but remember that they were there, and then also being there for people when it might be their time when they need support. The next one I have is the mentor friend. Someone who guides you, someone who in some way takes you under their wing. I had an example of that when I moved to LA in 2018. I didn't know anyone. And I met this woman, Kimberly, and she told me that when she first moved to LA, like 20 years before, 30 years before, she didn't know anyone. And she had met this other woman. And this woman said, "You don't know anyone, but you know what? I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to introduce you to everybody. I'm going to show you everything." And she said, "I'm going to return that favor with you." And we did. Well, she did. I ended up moving from LA, but while I was there, she really did. It was something I'll never forget. So it was a friend where we connected, but there was also a kind of a higher connection where I was learning from her. And those friendships don't come often, but when they do, really celebrate them. And they also definitely belong on your Mosaic. The next one is the fun and adventure friends. So, something that I have learned over time is that the highest vibration probably we can live in is the vibration of happiness, of laughter. It's really important. And I feel like sometimes those friends that are just fun, maybe they don't hit every other mark. They're not intimate. They're not soul connection, whatever. But they belong on the Mosaic because they bring you to a high vibration of alignment. Something I wanted to say is inspired by Liz Gilbert's book, Big Magic, is play is the highest expression of our aliveness. So when you're laughing, when you're having fun, that is really high vibration. That is like as high as it gets. So those friends definitely belong on your Mosaic. And when you're with them, the energy you have goes into this fun vibration. And we all need that. And that's valuable. So that is the fun and adventure friend. The next one, number 8, is the hardest. This is the mirror. This is a challenging friend that triggers you. So, you know that friend that comes in and there's just something there that's like hitting a nerve. So that friend's there like a mirror, triggering something inside of you that you need to heal. So that is a friend that probably won't last forever. It's a window, or maybe they'll stay on the tapestry if they're going to kind of fade a little bit. But when they're flashing a mirror at you, they're showing you this is work you need to do. And that is up to you whether you want to do that work or not. But that is what they're for. So it's actually like a teacher in disguise, the mirror friend. You think, what quality in them stirs discomfort in me? And what part of me needs to heal? So we all have had these friends in our lives, and there's a lesson, and you have a choice. You're going to go through the lesson or you're not. So, but those are challenging mirror friends. They're also part of the mosaic. The next one I have is the new aligned friend or the friends you're making right now. Because every day, every week, every month, no matter who you are, hopefully you're probably meeting new people. And the people you're meeting now, the newest people, those are really likely aligned with your vibration now because you attract in the present moment. The present moment is your point of attraction. So who you're attracting now at this moment might be more in alignment with where you are right now. And just to go for it, enjoy it, continue to evolve and expand. I hear people say sometimes, I don't have room for any friends, I'm done. And that's fine. Look, that's great. But for me, I think there's always a reason someone new's coming in. And even if I just have a very brief, quick interaction or I get to know them and then it doesn't necessarily last, I do actually give people a chance. I do explore new friends. And the question you ask is, what does this new friendship say about the frequency you're embodying now? That is the new friend. And that reminds me of the Abraham Hicks quote, we attract not what we want, but what we are. And the last category are friends who are just not presently in your life. They're distant from you right now, but they're still really important. Those are bonds that remain across miles and space. And this is about how does love continue to flow without presence. So in this one, you can embody and care for and connect with people even if they're not in your space. And this helps me because I'm not living in the same city as a lot of my friends, but I know they're out there. So even if I just sit in quiet and think of them, I feel connected. I know that may sound really woo-woo, but it's almost like they're just right over there. Like they're not here in my house right now, but they're not that far away. And I can feel the connection and I can see them on my tapestry. I know they're there. We're just not together in person today. I don't want to forget that I have these friends. It's just they're not in my present moment. So it's possible to still like send connection energy, to feel the connection through the ethers. That's just my opinion. So, what do you think of all of these different friends? Can you relate to this? Do you have a lot of drama with your friends? Are you in a pretty good spot? Like in one of the categories of life is friends. There's so many different categories. Is your category of friends, how satisfied are you with it? Do you feel that you need to make changes? Are there certain friend energies that I mentioned that you feel are really strong in your life right now? Are there some you wish you had more of? So these are just interesting things to think about. What is your intention? What kind of friend do you really want to spend more time with in the near future? A lot of people I talk to are looking for deeper connections. They're feeling like their friendships are lacking in depth and connection. So is that true for you? Are you wanting to open up to welcoming new friendships in your life? Are you acting like that? Are you aligning with that energy? So when it comes to the method I work with, the first step is to get clear about any blocks you might have or any thoughts that might be getting in the way, and then envisioning what is it that you really want. And when I gave you that list of 10, which one struck you? Which one are you wanting to expand in the next few months? And another major teaching that I want to share that I constantly have to remind myself of is that nothing is personal. I had written something a while ago by Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements. The one that always hits home is nothing is personal. And there's a quote I pulled from Nedra Tawwab, and she says, Nothing other people do is because of you. It's because of themselves. All people live in their own dream and their own mind. Even when words seem personal, such as a direct insult, they really have nothing to do with you. So let that sink in. And as you're navigating all of these relationships, if you can remember that nothing is personal, maybe you can soften and become more accepting of people as they are and be more compassionate towards yourself when you're having reactions and feelings, because you're going through your own story, as is everyone else who's on your tapestry in your mosaic. Every single color, every person on there is going through their own story, living in their own reality, their own dreams, seeing through their own lens. So the more you know that, the more I know that, the more we can enjoy the friends in our lives and have less conflict and less reactions and less feelings of struggle. I have a coaching moment I want to share, some questions I wanted to ask as we wrap up this conversation about friendships. Number one, which friendships in your life feel the most aligned with your current season? Number two, where might you be holding on to a connection that wants to evolve? Number three, how can you see each friendship through a softer, more compassionate lens? So, I want to share this quote by John O'Donohue, and it is a friendship blessing. May you be blessed with good friends. May you learn to be a good friend to yourself. May you be able to journey to that place in your soul where there is great love, warmth, healing, and forgiveness. May this change you. May it transfigure that which is negative, distant, or cold in you. May you be brought into the real passion, kinship, and affinity of belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, and may you be there for them. May they bring you all the blessings, challenges, truth, and light that you need for your journey. May you never be isolated. May you always be in the gentle nest of belonging with your Anam Kora. What did you think? So, as you move through your week, notice the energies of friendship around you. The ones that uplift, the ones that challenge, and the ones that simply hold you steady. Every connection reflects something about the lens through which you see yourself. If you're feeling called to explore this more deeply, to see your relationships and yourself with renewed clarity, that's exactly what we do inside the New Lens Method. It's a heart-led coaching experience designed to help you align your energy with the love and life you truly desire. You can learn more at triciarosestone.com. Thank you for listening to Her New Lens. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with a friend who might need a new way of seeing. Until then, keep looking through the lens of love. Bye for now.